Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Kingdom Silver here. Today we're going to be going over a older but very important article from Markets Insider breaking down the generation that has the most gold, and it's probably not the one you're thinking of. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of the video. Thank you so much for checking out the channel. Really appreciate it. If you haven't already, smash that like button, comment, subscribe to the channel, or do all three if you're feeling like being an overachiever. Would really appreciate the support. So as I mentioned, this is an old article, but I think it's a really good one. And honestly, if you would have told me this before I read the article, I wouldn't have believed you. But of all the generations out there that own gold, it's millennials. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's my generation, the millennial generation. I would have told you it would have been the Gen Xers or, potentially the baby boomers. However, that's not the case. And this article has some really interesting information in here, despite it being a year old. So with that, we're going to cover it a little bit more. And again, I'm just going to do this at a high level. I would recommend that you take a look at the article yourself, and I will make sure that in the description of this video that I have a link to this. So, it talks about, gold being a safe haven asset and all that stuff. But you would think, okay, gold may cater to the older, more wiser investors, such as the baby boomer generation. And honestly, I would have thought the same thing. However, they say that's not the case. In fact, it's millennials. And at the time of this article, they actually have more gold and silver by a large margin. And according to George Milling-Stanley, who is the chief gold strategist at State Street, he said, on average, millennials have a higher allocation to gold at 17%, with boomers and Gen Zs, or sorry, not Gen Zs, but Gen X lagging behind at just 10%. And millennials also reported a greater appreciation for the convenience of investing in gold through exchange-traded ETFs. Well, I'm going to get into that for a second later because I think that's actually a bad thing. However, next paragraph here, more millennials than boomers or Gen X replied that gold ETFs are the best way to invest, with 69% for millennials compared to boomers at 55% and Gen X at 35%. And then it gives some statistics as far as, what gold prices had done in 2023. At that time, it had just crossed around the $2,000 mark, as we can see. Or actually, this time, it actually says gold prices are currently rising toward the key 2,000 level. And now we know at the time of this video, gold is sitting just below 2,500. So obviously, those investments are paying off. However, I just find that interesting that it's my generation that has such an appreciation for gold and silver. And I have a theory. My generation grew up, and I actually remember this. I remember in 2008, I was I would have been a sophomore and going into my junior year, and hearing of the banks collapsing and the economy going down. I was at an age, right, where I could remember it and understand. And while I'm sure there's many different reasons for why millennials would say that they own gold, I think that one of those is because we lived through that time and knew that financial instability, and really don't want to visit that again, as we're seeing some, turbulent, choppy waters right now. We don't want to go back to that time, and we want to go into an asset that is safe. Now, I would say a negative for the millennials is these ETFs. And if you haven't heard my spiel on that before, there's a lot of people that have really good videos and breakdowns of it, even more so than I. But the summary is, with a lot of ETFs, you don't necessarily have a 1-to-1 gold ratio to your share. And in fact, some of the biggest gold ETFs and silver ETFs, well, I'll just let you do a little research on it. But if you dig into it, there's not a good allocation of your silver Personally, again, this isn't financial investment advice, but just some research I've done. The Sprott Physical Silver Trust and Physical Gold Trust, I believe, are good options in that they allocate their silver on their shares at a 1-to-1 ratio. However, again, not investment advice, but I think you would want to look for an ETF like that. And I'm not sure that all millennials know of that difference. Encourage you guys to do your own research, find that out. But overall, I am encouraged that the millennials seem to have an appreciation for gold and silver. I wouldn't have necessarily told you that, and why that's also interesting, ladies and gentlemen. And maybe I'm just not in the right, haven't made it in the right algorithms yet, if you will. But looking at my YouTube analytics, I have probably less than 7% of my viewers show that they have an age below 44. So even digging into that next generation a little bit, I find that really interesting. So if there are any millennials watching this video, and definitely if you're not a millennial, would love to hear your thoughts as well. But if you are a millennial, I'd love to hear what got you interested in gold and silver. And is it for some of the reasons that I mentioned, or is there other things that I'm not thinking about? Would love to hear your thoughts. And again, if you're not a millennial, please feel included as well. Would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. That will do it for this video, ladies and gentlemen. Be blessed. Be a blessing to others. We'll see you later.